Good morning, Mosaic kids. Today we will finish up our Lent series because next Sunday is Easter. Today is Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week. During Lent, we have been talking about what happened during Holy Week. JT told us about Palm Sunday a few weeks ago when Jesus arrived in Jerusalem before Passover. We also learned about the Last Supper, where Jesus taught us how to serve others and taught us about communion. Then we talked about how Jesus prayed in the garden and needed to spend time with God the Father in prayer. Last week we learned about Jesus' arrest and how he showed us that he was I Am. This week we will remember when Jesus died. They nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." "You said you've come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. A legion of angels would have flown to his side if he'd called. If you really were the Son of God, you could just climb off the cross. And of course they were right. Jesus could have climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it stop. Like when he healed that little girl and stilled the storm and fed the 5,000, but Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. Even though it was midday, a dreadful darkness covered the face of the world. The sun could not shine. The earth trembled and quaked. Great mountains shook. Rocks split in two, until it seemed the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear itself apart. The full force of God's storm, of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. Then Jesus shouted in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. He had done it. Jesus had rescued the world. Next week we will celebrate Jesus' resurrection. But it's okay to be sad right now as we wait. Being sad about Jesus' death reminds us that we weren't created to die, but we were created to live forever with God. We can be sad about death, and we can look forward to a life in the future that's perfect with God forever. Maybe with some people we really miss right now. And this is all possible because Jesus chose to die and rise again for us. Okay, kids, next week is Easter, and we need your help. Holy Week and Easter are inspiration for lots of art and other creative projects. Jesus' death and resurrection can make us feel lots of emotions: sadness, anger, joy, happiness, surprise, thankfulness. And there's lots of mystery too, right? The ground opens up, the sky gets dark, Jesus appears in mysterious rooms. Because of all this, artists have written songs, poems, painted pictures, written stories, all these inspired by Easter. Will you do the same? If you're in preschool, will you draw us a picture of Easter morning when Jesus rose from the dead? Or if you're in elementary, tell us, what does "He is risen" mean to you? Would you draw a picture or maybe do some word art? Maybe write a poem or another creative expression like a song? We would love to hear from you. Next week, Miss Amanda will share your creations with us. Parents, please email a picture or video of your kids' Easter-inspired art to Miss Amanda. Feel free to text us with any questions. Have a great week.